Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever you are. Welcome back, my fellow soul students. Welcome back to another soul podcast episode. Welcome back. It is judgment versus condemnation. That is the topic we are talking about today. Now, it is right to judge, but wrong to condemn. It is right to judge, but wrong to condemn. Let's get into it. We've heard plenty of times in our lives that it's wrong to judge, but that's not realistic. Without making adequate judgments, we aren't taking decisive action. We are walking around aimlessly. We are allowing someone else to choose what life we are living. So it is up to us and only us to make that decision. If someone were to come over into your space and to tell you that you are living the wrong life when it comes to you living a life you decided is right for you, how would you receive that? The bottom line, we all know inherently what is right for ourselves. So why are we talking about this today? Well, when it comes to condemnation, we are talking about condemnation in relation to censure and punishment. When it comes to basically trying to put guidelines on how someone else should exist, how they should behave, and how they should express themselves. Now, constructive criticism, it is actionable, it is clear, and it is beneficial to the recipient. We should be able to receive constructive criticism, we should be able to give constructive criticism. But we need to take something into account. Judgment serves for benefit. Specifically, judgment serves for personal benefit unless specifically asked by someone else. That would be constructive criticism. Or unless you are giving it to someone else, I guess I should say. However, it is the recipient who it can be the only person that can take a judgment and use it as constructive criticism. The thing here is that having discernment as to what is best for you and what you should stay away from, that is the best place for judgment. When you yourself are taking the decisive action of this is good for me or this is not good for me. The thing is, with condemnation, we are literally punishing someone for their own life decisions, which is not the same as constructive criticism. If someone's path really is not working for them and it's not for them, the life that they are living alone is punishment enough without us having to come in and condemn them. So let's really break this down a little bit. Judgment is a bias that we all have that gets us through life. And when we are judging somebody else, we need to ask ourselves, is this constructive criticism or am I condemning that person? Because when it comes to judgment, yes, it is best used for the deciding what path is best for us. When it comes to judgment, it is best used when it's for deciding what is best for us. And again, constructive criticism versus condemnation. So it is right to judge, but it's wrong to condemn. Now, how do we go about this? It is key to identify the line between your lane and theirs and stay in your lane. Again, it is so important to identify the line between here's my lane, I'm driving, living my life, doing what is right for me. This is somebody else living their life, doing what is right for them. And there is a line, there is a clear boundary right here. We must stay in our lane, otherwise that is how accidents happen. Now, we are social beings. We are human characters that we live as human characters. Humans are social beings. This means that we need people. We literally need to interact in order to be healthy, whole beings. However, no one is meant for everyone. We all need someone, but no one needs everyone all the time in every way. Like it's really, really important because, we need people, but we must be able to identify the line of who is for us and who is not for us. And that is when judgment comes in. What's important is that we choose to spend our time with those we are compatible with. Those who we are compatible with don't necessarily have to have all the same interests or operate in the same way. Being compatible means that our personalities and our lifestyles and our behaviors complement each other. We help each other grow. We help each other maintain health. That is what it means to be compatible. Judgment serves us when we can decide that we are not compatible with something, with someone or something. And therefore, we can now take decisive action to make a change. Judgment is not used to change something outside of us. And I'm talking about another person. Judgment is not used to change a person to better fit us. Judgment is used so that we can change ourselves or change our environment to fit us, not another person. So, again, judgment, it's okay to judge, but it is wrong to condemn. It is wrong to condemn. Judgment does in fact have its place, but we must be responsible enough to use judgment accordingly. Okay, so this one is a fun one. I grew up a very bossy, judgmental, condemning person. But growing up, I didn't know the difference. I was raised Christian Baptist, that definitely has a hand, and I was raised with very overbearing personalities, and I assumed, we begin to assume that there's a certain way to be, like all of us. However, the problem really started with me. I experienced things in school, but it was when I became an adult that I was really able to analyze. Because the thing about school is we don't have a choice in where we are. But you can apply to a different job. You can move across states. You can do whatever you want. And when you start to realize that there are certain things and certain ways that we behave that they're not being received. It's one thing for something not to be received, but for everyone not to receive it, usually there's a problem. Now, like I said before, there is no one that is meant for everyone. And some of us are very unique. And having a small group of friends, there's nothing wrong with that. But having no group of friends is a problem. I realized that. And it was very interesting. People wanted to be around me, but they wouldn't receive my criticism. Or they would receive it just to stay around me. And I realized that I found myself condemning people silently, because when I would give them my criticisms, constructive or not, when I would give them my criticisms, they would not make these changes, but they would still complain about the same things. I talked about this in past episodes. But the whole point was, I found myself going from making judgments for how judgments about how to make solutions to condemning these people for not making the solutions or making the changes for these solutions. And it took me a long time, losing friends later, and because it's really interesting, because I realized I'm the one who walked away from my friends, but it was because of the outlook that I had. And do I regret it? No. However, I do feel like it is beneficial to take these as learning lessons so that when I do form these new relationships, I am able to form healthy relationships. And one of those things is how you view people. And you cannot have a healthy relationship when you are silently condemning someone for their decisions. And the reality is, I should have made the judgment much earlier on. Okay, if this is the way you operate, then this is not in alignment with who I am or the person I'm creating myself to be. So I'm going to make the necessary changes to remove you from my life. Instead, what happened is I sat there and I began to condemn them, and then I began to resent them silently, which is not healthy. And it's not their fault that they choose to be who they choose to be. And actually, no, it is their fault, but it's their right. It is their responsibility to choose who they want to be. So who am I to come into someone else's life and to try to change who they are? We are all primary characters in our own storyline. What's his name? He's right here. This man, the Four Agreements. He talks about it. I always want to call him Don Juan, but that is not his name. Don Ruiz. He talks about it, and he really emphasizes the fact that as the primary character in your own storyline, you are the one who's deciding. And because I'm the one who's deciding and writing my own story, it's not right for me to go to a secondary character and tell them, hey, you need to be this person in my storyline. When in reality, if I want someone that fits that bill, someone who fits those qualifications, I will find that person, or that person will be coming to me. That is the way things work, believe it or not. So I really had to take this time and take this chance and take a step back, and I did. And I'm so grateful that I did, because I do find myself making judgments all day, every day. I do like this, I don't want this. But I don't find myself condemning people anymore, and I feel like I have so much more peace. So just remember, guys, it is right to judge. It's how we stay alive, but it's wrong to condemn. It's up to them.